tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello. I'm just trying something here real quick. Oh, I can do it in the comments. All right. Everyone. No, I don't want to do it there. I want to put it in here. There we go. All right. I'm going to see if that works. I can do that once a day where I can tag everybody in my group at once. So there wasn't anybody here. So that worked out. I'm messing with some stuff, as you can see. Trying to find a background that matched that. That's as close as it would come so that I could put that trudging together up there. So I change it around a little bit. I was going to try yellow. Tell me what you guys think of the yellow. There we go. See how that works. Oh, this lady. I'll talk about that. Oh, I'm waiting. The lady that saw something on that plane. I believe her. Oh, I believe her. She wasn't crazy. No, I'm sorry, but that lady was not crazy. I know crazy when I see it. How do I know? Because I'm one and I can see those things. No, she was scared of something. And what had happened was she'd lost one of her earbuds and the person was helping her. I don't know what happened during that point, yeah, I believe in that stuff. Something you might know, get to know me about a little bit stuff. Yeah. I believe in paranormal stuff and things like that. But anyway, we're in that 3-minute mark. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. In yellow, black and yellow. See how that works? I don't like the way it matches that green. I'd need something a little bit darker, but then I don't know why it won't make it white. So anyway, see, these are little things that we have to deal with when we do this stuff. But if you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch, according to this, nobody is on just yet. I'm gonna shut my door, and then we are going to talk about the black sheep of the family. Most of us that are alcoholic or in the AA program usually tend to be the black sheep of the family. And there's a whole set. There it is, just the tip again. It all depends on how my camera's at. For me, I was definitely the black sheep of the family. It is weird because there's actually what it's what they call it the dysfunctional family dynamic, right? And first you have the alcoholic, the instigator or whatever. And usually the codependent, then that's usually the husband or wife. And if these people have children, these children will start to fall into these roles. Usually the firstborn is what they call the hero. Okay? Usually the firstborn is the hero. That's usually what I've seen. They usually turn out to be normies. They usually tend to be normies. And this is from what I've seen, but this will actually give you an idea of what we're looking at here, right? Man, okay. Am I just not that fucking interesting to listen to or what? Anyway, being the black sheep of the family, So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something about black sheep. We put up with a lot of shit. A lot. And usually the second child is usually the black sheep. Mm-hmm. Then below that, what do they call it? The lonely child? No, it's not called that. But the next child is usually the one that is usually quiet, subdued, just does what they need to do. The hero usually ends up taking care of the family. Actually, that's what they say, but it's not true. Usually, the hero is doing so much stuff that they are not at home. They have so many outside activities that they're just not home because they're doing so much. Because they don't want to be in the house. You can't really blame them, can you? It's a matter of avoidance. My older brother was the hero, and yeah, he wasn't. Oh, later on, once he got his license, I never saw him anymore. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But he left all that to his black sheep, and us black sheep, we have this real big thing about right and wrong. What is right in the family? What's wrong in the family? And since that never gets taken care of, what usually happens is this person will usually end up with some sort of addiction, usually alcoholism. Come on, ticker. Come on, ticker. Thank you. This just isn't as much fun without anybody. Anyway, I guess it wasn't about fun, though, was it? I don't know about any of you. I'm going to give you a good example of black sheep, because usually black sheep are the ones that we also tend to have a lot of problems. Okay? And I did. I never really felt like I fit in anywhere, blah, blah. I had a lazy eye, I had a speech impediment. I went to bed till I was 11 years old. So I didn't do a lot of sleeping over at places. I didn't have many friends, partially because of that. And my name, Dion, rhymes with peon and G. No. So these are things that we go through, and as we grow up, we start to understand that we weren't treated right. And black sheep tend to fight for justice. We're usually the ones that stands up and says in the family, this isn't okay. This isn't what's happening in our family isn't all right. And that person will get shut down immediately. And then we get, in my case, I got very, very angry. I got very angry. I got to say one thing. It isn't so much that nobody's on. It's when people come on and leave. Because when they leave, I just don't want to do it anymore. It takes my self-esteem and it goes poof. Now that isn't anybody else's fault and or problem. Yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna have to get over that, or I'm gonna have to do something else. Better topics. It just seems like, gosh, it's so hard to have a hard conversation when nobody's listening. Maybe I need to lighten up and not do hard conversations anymore. Right? But this person, So when I was 5, I was 5 or 6. It was my mother's birthday, and I remember my dad telling me that she wasn't going to get a birthday cake, and I was mad. I was very, very upset because I knew what it felt to not get what it is that you wanted. I knew what that was like by the age of 5, right? But the things that I was looking, because the way that I saw it was this: is what we're saying by getting her a cake is that we love her. Because in my house we didn't say I love you, we didn't hug, we didn't, there wasn't any interaction, and I ran away. Needless to say, I did get back home, right, and my mom did get her birthday cake. So don't fuck with my mom, I think is what we get out of that. But what happens when a black sheep starts to do things that are good? See, we have a different understanding of things. We have a different understanding of life than most of the other people in this world. When we see other people being put down, when we see them things being taken away that they should have, it upsets us. Those worldly clamors can catch a black sheep quickly. Stop watching the darn news. They're not giving you any information that's any good. All I hear when I watch the news is wah, 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 wah. That's all I hear. So go out there and make a difference. I'm wrapping it up. So, all right. Oh, they showed up. I guess I'll go on. See, it doesn't tell me. Hi. I was getting ready to wrap up because nobody was really here, but I'll keep going now. Hi, friends. What I was talking about was the fact that the black sheep in the family has a different viewpoint of life because of the way that we were brought up, because of the way that we were raised. See, we always did things like question authority, especially with our parents. We pushed our boundaries to their limits. We were trying to figure out how far we could get in this world before we were put down or beaten or anything else. So, and we were testing those boundaries so we could see how far we got. Black sheep are usually pretty independent people. We're required to be. We need to be. Okay? Because of the way that we think, of our actions, we are different from other people. So the black sheep of the family, I mean, as alcoholism, you're already going to be put aside for that. But most black sheep of the family become the next alcoholic. Now, I believe this is hereditary. Both my mother and my father were alcoholic, and it was clear by the time I was age 12, 13, that I had alcoholic tendencies, and my mother saw that in me. So that's why I'm passing this on to you. When you have kids, when you start to have kids, and you'll know this, and you'll know these things, you'll know them. So once a black sheep starts to figure out, hey, you know what? Maybe the way I'm going about things, maybe the way I'm approaching everybody isn't the right way. Maybe once we get into that, once a black sheep can get to the point where they can accept life for what it is, we become very, very, I don't want to say powerful, but influential people. And no, not everybody in AA is a black sheep. We all have different roles that we play. So I may be saying stuff and you're like, yeah, I don't understand that. No. I'll give you a really good example. When I was 15, my parents, I was on pass from the group home I was in. And my parents sat us down to let us know that they were going to get separated and, well, they were going to get divorced. Okay? This had been apparent to me for a long time, several years. Actually, ever since my mother got sober, I had noticed this. And everybody was crying. And, here's the thing is, the man that raised us had no love for me, and I didn't care. I'm going to tell you, I was mad that they interrupted my pass. What, you guys couldn't come down to where I'm at? Huh? Well, you don't want to come down to the group home until you want to interfere with my pass. Okay, I earned that pass, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do, which was hang out over at my friend Mike's house. No, I wasn't doing anything stupid. I just wanted to be over there. Okay. So they sat us down, and everybody goes around. They want everybody to talk on it, and it comes to me. And I'm one of these people that, by this time I had been in therapy for several years. And by this time I was a system kid. So these little problems that I'm hearing, these little fucking problems I'm hearing, I mean, I'm like, I don't even have a home. Fuck off. And it comes to me. And I tell them, I think this is great. You two I've never seen you two love each other at all. Okay? And you two do not match. Can I go back to my friend Mike's house now? I left. I don't care to this day. I'm still not sad about it. Because I was right. They didn't fucking belong together. I didn't like the way he treated my mother. I thought he was an asshole. Right? And they're both remarried, and they're both remarried to much better suited people. Yes. My dad found himself another alcoholic. And my mom married another person in recovery. And they both have, let's see, I think she has 38 years and he has 39. Right? So I was right. But they're still mad at me for saying that. If you're one of those people where people will say things, man, you are brutally honest, you're a black sheep. You got to get away from the brutal honesty. Okay? Not everybody can handle it. I know that you can. Sure. Because, people calling me names really doesn't hit like it used to. Okay? It does affect name calling. You do it repetitively. And yes. See? Whatever you drive into this brain is what you're going to get out of it. This is just a computer that does what you tell it to do. If you think of it that way. Right? So once we can come to these commonalities, once we can start to see that we don't need to open our mouths all the time, then we can become selective. And that's really what we're coming down to. Because my job is to help God's children as much as I can. Well, if I'm being brutally honest, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'll just drive people off by doing that. That's why I had taken that away, because I couldn't read the chats. Yeah. Yep. I am the one that said that. Yeah. See, I like the yellow with that. That looks cool. but it needs to have a black background. Okay. Anyway, sorry. It's the Virgo in me. Once name call, that's because once name calling has started, that person is no longer listening. How do I know that? Because I'm one of them. Because I'm one of them. Once name calling starts, it's no longer a conversation. It is an argument. And I will not partake. Because if this person continues on, I'm going to turn around and make them cry. And I will. It's not going to take me but 2 minutes to figure out how to fucking make you mad. I'm a black sheep. I already know what I know what you're going through from the moment you open your damn mouth. Because people always have the same actions. And anytime I've seen a conversation where name calling starts, nothing constructive will happen from that point on. It's just going to be anger. Oh, well, yeah, well, you blah, 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 blah. What else does name calling do? It gets into particulars. I don't do particulars. Nope. I don't do particulars. Period. They will fuck you up. Okay? Hey, you know what? And if you do it 10 steps, sometimes you'll do something, but you don't have to get particular. Hey, you know what? I noticed I reacted this way and that wasn't right. I want you to know I saw it so I can change it. That's a solution. Not you're an asshole. That's not a solution. That's a statement. It's an opinion. It is not fact. Conversations are based around fact. That must be a Virgo thing or a black sheep. It's kind of a little bit of both. The stubbornness of the Virgo can really stunt it. The stubbornness of the Virgo can stunt this. So it's actually not it's not the best mix. We got to do a little bit more conscientious work, I think. And all it is, yeah, I'm going to make you cry. And I don't want to be that person anymore. No, I don't want to be that way anymore. I used to get a kick out of it. And that's disgusting. Bad, Dion. Bad. Black sheeps are usually the people that make movements. They're usually the people that will chair the meetings. Okay. Is everybody in? Yeah, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Can't sing any more of that or they'll cut my video. And Facebook seems to be looking for any reason to say that I'm going against community standards. It's a black sheep thing. Right? I'm a black sheep. Right? Son, he's a black sheep. We're the odd ones. We're the ducks. We're those odd ducks. We're the weird ones in AA. We're the crazy ones. We're the ones that need to go to therapy because we have a lot of trauma. It's true. But I'm going to tell you something. That's true too. The further you went down, the further you go up. Yep. The further you go down, the further you go up. We all end up at the same place. Okay? But the more experience you have, the more you can help. Oh, so that doesn't mean go out and drink. That means go out and experience more things. Hard things, bad things, challenging things. Okay? And don't let the little things build up, black sheep. Oh, it's just a small thing. We're really good at that. Oh, it's just a small thing. No, but It doesn't matter. In the eyes of God, it doesn't matter. What matters is your action. And non-action is the worst of all. Indifference is the worst. I think that's the worst sin. Indifference. Because it just means I don't care. And what were you like when you drank on the fuckets? Or not even drink, but on the fuckets. Ooh, that's even worse. Because we're angry and we're not getting what we want. Oh, poor us. Okay? What are we doing? We're looking for alleviation. We're looking for alleviation. Absolutely. And that's okay. That's okay. You know what? God has relieved me of many of those things. I just don't react to life like I used to. I just don't. Okay? I always take that next step. I've been touting this a lot. Always take that next step, man. Oh, this was good. Well, this is better. It takes 2 more seconds and 2 more seconds of your life, and it's going to change everything. Just take 2 seconds. Somebody said something. Okay? It's forever in your mind. But when we're talking, 2 seconds isn't very long. That was 2 seconds. Kind of, I think. I don't know. I'm not the best at counting in my head. I was asked to do a sobriety check once, and I wasn't drunk. I hadn't been drinking. I still sucked at it. Like, no. Anyway. Just because you're a black sheep of the family does not mean that you are a bad person. That might be what society thinks. But, you know, can you really can you rely on society's opinion? No. Because see, the thing is like I'll see things on Facebook, I'll hear things on the news, and I go out there and none of it is happening. Everybody is very, very kind to me. Of course, I go around and I like to make people laugh. Yeah. But, you know, do I run across some people that, yeah, all the time. Do they interrupt my day anymore? No. Why? Because their problems are just as big as mine, if not more. They may even be more. If that person has spiritual malady, it's a lot more, isn't it? Yeah, think of that. Did you think that maybe that person has spiritual malady just like you? Because they do. Now, as a black sheep, now that you know that and you can realize that, you can actually make that person's day. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Let them hold space. Allow them to hold their own space, man. That's it. You don't need to say anything. Oh, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. That's an assumption. That's an assumption. Don't say that. Pay your stuff. And this is what I always do. I always say this anywhere I go. Thank you for being here for me. I appreciate it. Have a good day. That's what I say to every cashier. Thank you for being here for me today. I appreciate that. Be amazed. Be amazed. Because it's true. I do appreciate them. They're helping me. Oh, but they're just doing their job. No, they're not. They're not just doing their job. They're trying to live life. This is not the problems. I don't need to add to them. I don't need to pick a fight. Okay? That's where our brutal honesty cannot come into play. Okay? Here's the only honesty that you need. Internal. You only need internal honesty. It's all you need. You don't need to worry about the rest. It'll happen automatically because you're being honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself, you're honest with other people. It's how it is. It's just the way that it works. Nice and simple. You don't have to worry about being dishonest. You have the 10th step. Allow it to happen. Fail. Nothing is perfect. Let it be that way. My podcast is not perfect, and we do that on purpose. These are not perfect. I don't sit here and do clips and no, I don't do that. I don't even have notes. I just come on here and I'm like, well, and if something comes to me, something comes to me. If it doesn't, then we find something else. It's just how it works. This isn't perfect. Why? Because it's perfect the way it is. The number one question that I get about the podcast from people coming on, do you edit? No, absolutely not. And I won't. Unless it's a HIPAA violation, then I will. If it's anonymity, okay. The one time I did edit, God, it was a pain in the ass. That's why. I don't know how. I do. I just hate it. But at the same time, what I'm saying is true. So somebody was a recovery coach and said a client's name on accident. I took that out. I didn't do a very good job of it either. I think it's still the first letter of the name was it. You see, it doesn't need to be perfect. I doubt anybody even noticed and or cared. I've had people ask me this too. Now, I don't know why somebody would do this. I did a podcast for somebody else and they decided they didn't like it, so they didn't put it out. Nope, I won't do that either. Because it's not my podcast. It's not my podcast. I don't make that decision. The speaker does. It's their podcast. I'm just a vehicle. I'm the vehicle. I'm the soundtrack. I'm the person supporting them. And if they want to, even if they want to talk about things that I don't agree with, we're going to do it. And I'm going to back them on it because it's their podcast. That is their truth. Now, I might get us to thinking. I might ask some pertinent questions. But I ain't going to put this person down on their show because it's their show now. See? When we make that switch and it's not about us, it becomes beautiful. It becomes God. And it's the coolest thing in the world. I don't need to edit. I got God. I do things very differently. But I also do things the right way. I used to do things the right way in spite of myself. I don't have to do that anymore. Because now I automatically know what the next right thing is to do. I already know. I don't need to, and I'm not saying I don't need to ask for direction. Of course I do. But I usually know what I'm going to be doing. You know? I'm going to be helping somebody. Very good chance of it. It's really all I do all day long. That and clean shit. All right. Thank you. Thank you both for being here. I don't know what it is, but it's just harder to do it alone. And I don't know if I have to get over that. I don't think I need to get over that. But I do think I need to be more consistent on my time. And that's the thing, is I can't ask everybody else to do something if I'm not doing it. Oh. Thank you. I love you. Go be the black sheep. Go do it. Go do it. You're gonna find it's actually a very fun life. Because you're gonna catch things and you're gonna be like, wow, no, that's not how it goes. And you know that, right? I love you too. And I like you. I love you guys. Honey. I was just ending. Yep, daily reflection, here we come. I didn't do it today. So if you guys want to hang out, I'm going to do daily reflections because Ingrid showed up. It's not going to be, yeah, I'm at 35 minutes. That's okay. That's all right. Telling you, God does things, and he does them for a reason. Okay? One of the things that I love about myself is that even with this, if somebody comes on at this time and I'm getting ready to wrap up, a lot of times I will continue on because don't worry about it. You don't need to worry about that. Yeah, you're talking to your spouse. Awesome. Tell them I said hi. I love you. And you're not required to stick around. So, and letting go of it. So yesterday's was identifying fear, and today's is and letting go of it. So we're gonna have a fear talk. So I'm probably gonna be here for another minute because fear is an evil, corroding thing, right? So I'm gonna go to the 12 by 12, page 76. Let's do that. Do 76. Be step 7. And Gary's here now, so it still says 2, so I think the people may just switched out. It's all right. It's all right. But I got to get back to this stuff then, if there's people on again. I'm trying to promote us here. So now I'm going to do welcome to the Daily Trudge. Please say hello, and then please share this video. Yeah, thanks. All right, I'm going to start at I'm going to start at the top of page 76. As we approach the actual taking of step 7, it might be well if we AAs inquire once more just what our deeper objectives are. Each of us would like to live at peace with himself and his fellows. We would like to be assured that the grace of God can do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. We have seen that character defects based on short-sighted and unworthy desires are the obstacles that block our path towards these objectives. We now clearly see that we have been making unreasonable demands upon ourselves, upon others, and upon God. Demands. What's usually the demand? God, please get me out of jail. That's usually it. What's for me? What's for me? I don't belong in jail. Thing is I know how to handle jail, though, because I've been there a lot. Anyway, so we can see that our character defects based upon short-sighted and unworthy desires. And what are we trying to do here? Okay. Step 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. So what are we doing? Okay. It's about humility. It's about asking God the first one was about asking God for help. Now we're going to ask God to remove all the things that are objectionable. You do not get to decide them. They are not removed. We're going to ask, what are we doing? Okay. This is where perfection comes in. Don't be scared of that word. Don't be scared of it. The only thing in this world, in my opinion, is God. The only thing that's perfect. So I am trying to achieve what he has. Will I ever get it? Will I ever get there in this finite body here on earth? Probably not. Because the day I become perfect, I'm an angel, man. I'm an angel. right? And I kind of feel like a lot of us here in AA are fallen angels. I think some of us kind of fucked up and we're having to do something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You know what? Because with it, you know, as long as it motivates you towards the good things, then great. So here's where they were talking about in the daily reflections. The chief activator of our defects has been self-centered fear. And this is where you'll hear Dion, but I stole it from here. Primarily fear that we would lose something we already possess or would fail to get something we demanded. I'm going to tell you, you're still not going to get them. You're not. Good? Because God's got something better. Oh, I had a great plan. Trudging together is nothing like what I had put together. It was actually a whole business plan. All right. Shannon came up with Bridge the Gap 6 years ago. Anyway, all right. Living upon a basis of unsatisfied demands, we were in a state of continual disturbance and frustration. Or maybe we could say we were in a state of continual fear. Therefore, no peace was to be had unless we could find means of reducing these demands. The difference between a demand and a simple request is plain to anybody. So when it says, therefore, no peace was to be had, that's not just you. That's everybody in your household. Anybody that loves you. They had to go to bed every fucking night hoping they didn't get a phone call. It's not just us. We affect everybody around us. So what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be fear driven, or do you want some hope in there? Because that choice is yours. That choice is mine. Okay? And God is the one that makes it possible for me and for you. The seventh step is where we make the change in our attitude, which permits us with humility as our guide. God, I hated that fucking word. Now I love it. I am. I'm a humble motherfucker. When you say it that way, it don't sound like it, does it? Sure doesn't. I'm so humble. Are you allowed to brag about being humble? Does that work out? Probably not. Probably not. It is really saying to us that we ought to be willing to try humility in seeking the removal of our other shortcomings, just as we did when we admitted that we were powerless over alcohol. So the thing is, when you come in, you already used humility. You ask God for help. If that obsession's been removed, you ask God for help. And now we're going to use the same process that we use for the rest of our problems. Simple. See, now that we're aware of our problems, you're going to find that the answer is almost always the same. Okay? The first step is talking. And comes out, and so let's just get awareness is the first step. Awareness, acceptance, agreeing, all the same word in this case. Okay? And once we can agree, I can agree that I have and I'll tell you this because I think I have a fear of losing my wife. That is probably my biggest fear nowadays. Not nowadays, but I'm kind of, my biggest fear is somebody taking away my freedom. But the further I get away from that, the less it's my biggest fear, right? Now, isn't that very selfish of me? something that I might lose. Right? Will my faith in God be shaken? Will my, and I'm sorry, I'm what ifing on that. But what I was trying to do is just show you that those fears don't go away. What happens is we gain more courage. So instead of sitting here, well, I don't, I hope I'm the first one to go or whatever. Instead, take that time to spend with them. Instead of being up here thinking they're gone. That's the difference. That's the difference. Then go spend time with them now. Right? I saw, I think it was a meme or I heard something. And so he says, do you tell your wife or husband I love you every day? I'm like, just once? That's it? If one of us leaves the house, we hug, kiss, say I love you. It's a required thing in our house. Right? But we don't go to bed mad at each other. Ever. No. We will every evening. And my wife and I say I love you all day long. Just be walking by. I love you too. Okay, and we do it in other ways, in actions. Like the other day, I was having a real hard day. Shannon knew that I had some things piling up on me, and when I went in there, the dishes were done, and it was a relief for me. Okay, that's how she's showing me love. So she took her own time to help me out because she knew I was going through something. If that degree of humility could enable us to find the grace by which such a deadly obsession could be banished. Yeah, just think of that. That deadly obsession was banished. And that's nothing compared to fear. Actually, I don't think that's true. No. I think I'm wrong on that. See, that's why we got to run our mouths, is how we get our answers. This is pretty much therapy. You realize that, right? I'm just running my mouth until the answers come out. Because that's what therapy is. Good therapist will say there, yep, you are correct. And they'll repeat back to you what you were saying. That's what a good therapist does. They listen. They're fantastic listeners. So use that. I think my therapist has gotten a little too close to me because she is worried about her dog half the time. That guy ticks me off. But we're also on Zoom, and I'm free to be able to put her on hold to go to the bathroom, or if my cat comes in. So see, why shouldn't I be able to give that to another person just because we're in a situation that deems something? As a black sheep, I'm going to tell you to piss off because it's not right. What my therapist shouldn't learn because she's working, that's not the kind of person I am. She's helped me out a lot, and she does not get paid enough for it. She's awesome. I would refer you to her, but she's full. And I ain't giving up my Tuesdays. I ain't giving up my Mondays. Ain't gonna happen. I told her, I'm like, you were stuck with me for a while. I'm a Virgo, man. Once I trust you, I want you in my life. It takes a long time for me to trust somebody. Then there must be hope of the same result respecting any other problem we could possibly have. Peace is possible for me only when I let go of expectations. When I am trapped in thoughts about what I want and what should be coming to me, I am in a state of fear of anxious anticipation that is not conducive to emotional sobriety. Maybe we're putting some unreasonable demands on other people for their time. Maybe we expect our spouses to do something because their spouse. Okay? Your serenity is in direct line with your expectations. Okay? Peace is the same word. Peace is the same word. I am at peace with myself and my fellows. That means that if there's a hard conversation that needs to be had, you and I can have it and we can move forward. Did you know that even if you vote for the opposite president than I, that I will still be your friend? I'm going to tell you, I don't care. I don't care who you voted for. It has nothing to do with what we do. So why should I care? Oh, because I don't agree with it. What does my opinion have to fucking do with it? My opinion is just mine. And I don't need to force it down other people's throats, right? It's about being in the right arena, okay? Another thing Lori taught me, I tout on her a lot because she did. And because what she, when she told me, Dion, you got to stop being the poster child for PTSD, okay? And I'm like, how do I do that? She's like, arenas. Let me teach you about arenas. And it freed me. It freed me. I'm like, I get that. See, I was just coming on about PTSD and the anxiety. That's how this all started. I'm like, you know what? I know there's other people that go through this shit. So I would come on during an anxiety attack. I once did a daily reflections or the Daily Trudge in front of the emergency room before I went in because I wanted people to see what I looked like. And it didn't look like this. Okay? And people were seeing it. It was hard, but I couldn't stay that person. So instead, now what I did is I went and got help, and I let everybody watch me get better over the last 4 years. That's what I've done. This has been a series of my life of the last 4 years. I have thousands of videos, thousands, and I'm proud of that. I didn't even know I did that. I look at my podcast, I'm like, when did I do this? I don't remember this podcast. I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't remember them. Because I wasn't there. When it comes to those podcasts, or anytime I tell my story, I speak in front of people, I disappear. It's God. I let God take over. When I'm trapped in my thoughts, I'm not in a state of fear or anxious anticipation, and this is not conducive to, I must surrender over and over. Yeah. And that's going to be the hard part, surrendering over and over. I don't have to do that anymore. Now, bam, bam, bam. It just happens for me. Not that I don't see it or recognize it, but it's automatic. Where before, no. Something would interrupt my day. And it would, let's say, I thought I got like 10 compliments that day, but one person said one hair was out of place. Oh, you know where I'm going. I'm going to think about that one fucking hair all day. I'm going to be mad at them. Now, right? And so I would have to say the serenity prayer. I came back up again. I have to say it like 50 times a day. Next day, I have to say it 49, then 48, 47. See, 50 is not that big. It's not that big when you eat it a day at a time. I must surrender over and over to the reality of my dependence on God. Then I find peace, gratitude, and spiritual security. All of them, yes. Absolutely. Hallelujah. Man, yes, I have to agree. And the more I surrender, the more I give over, the more peace and gratitude I have. Okay, there's those dividends again. These are dividends for doing the work. Faith without works is dead. If you work this program to the best of your ability, the more peace, gratitude, and spiritual security you will have. You will have. And you'll be able to take that from day to day. Is that a success? No. That is life on life's terms. That's just life. That's life treating you good because you're being good, because you're doing astute things, because you're being who you are. You're not being, when you approach somebody, it's because you actually care. You do the same. Thank you. Yes, I am wrapping up. I've been on almost an hour, which is pretty cool. Was I going to hit a 6:30 meeting? Guess not. We'll go find a 7 o'clock. So, all right. Thank you for saying that, Ingrid. It gives me permission to end it. I appreciate that, right? So thank you everybody for being here. This was much longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay too. And that works out because the first 10 minutes nobody was here. So all right, I love you. Peace out and have a